Hello, welcome back to EV DIY. Today I'm working on my GT project, an EV swapped, body swapped BMW Z3. And today I'm going to be putting a clutch in it. Well, sort of. This is the Lexus IS300h CVT gearbox. Normal application, it's used as a continuously variable transmission, as you guess from the name. But in this application, we're just basically taking it and using it as two big electric motors, thanks to the genius of the open inverter crew. In order to do this, what we have to do is lock the input shaft, i.e. lock this, the bit that would normally connect to the engine. It didn't come with a clutch or anything similar, so I needed to find something that would work. And my assumption was that this would be exactly the same input shaft as on the crash, as on the Lexus GS450h, its big brother, but actually it is not. This was supplied by Jamie, my friend, who's already done a GS450h based BMW E91. So that was left over from his project. That didn't fit. So my next option was to go to, and this is what just clattered everywhere, a local Japanese specialist scrapyard, and asked them if I could rummage around in their bin pile, which they kindly let me do. Unfortunately, nothing I found there quite fitted. It was either too big, like this one, too small, like this one, or just plain massive, like this one. Anyway, it was all a bit Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and sadly, nothing was just quite right. So I ended up succumbing and buying this blueprint clutch, an ADT 33127. Kind people have listed clutches that work on the open inverter forum. I tried sourcing various second-hand bits, tried my local garage and everything else, but to no avail. So I paid about 35 quid for that delivered, which isn't too bad. And that sits on very, very nicely indeed. Right diameter, right spline pattern. So what we have to do now is find a way to affix this to the mounting plate that's going to bolt to the front of this gearbox slash electric motor. And that is going to be the next challenge. First thing we need to do, remove all the friction material, because we don't need that. And doing so will release some mounting holes, or at least that was my plan until I took a good look at this clutch, which only arrived about a couple of hours ago. The metal which holds the friction material on is extremely thin. Now obviously in sort of rotation it's plenty thick enough, but if we did want to have this sort of stand off slightly, and we're going to have it stand off from the flat plate, as you can see here, there's a good gap between there and there, then we need to make it stand off, and that might be a bit of a problem with that thin metal. We shall see. Start by drilling out these rivets and getting the friction material off, and then we can have a look and see what we're working with. There we go. Now you can see what I mean by how thin this outer material is. I'm sort of wondering what we can do with that. Because we need to make this stand off, part of me is tempted to just bend that, but that's not going to give us very much strength. Unfortunately, the rivets here aren't particularly accessible. We couldn't easily get bolts through there because this main part of the centre pin is in the way. So yeah, limited options really. I think we probably do end up using the outer ones, but we need to work out some sort of scheme for the standoff and use all of them so that it's got the appropriate amount of strength. It's a few weeks after that last video. Took some measurements off the bell housing and the new clutch, and I need a standoff of about 35mm, so I got myself some 35mm box, all marked out with some cut lines. I'm going to cut basically a square out, weld that square onto the back plate, and then drill holes that will go through from the existing holes where the rivets used to go through on that clutch, and probably just put some riv nuts in. I think because there's quite a lot of them, even though they're going to be relatively small gauge or small bore, whatever you want, diameter, it should be enough. So first job, grinder, cut this up. And repeat that a few more times. Right, still need a little bit more cleanup, but we now have 4 pieces of box section, and we have our mounting plate. You can see I've drilled some holes in it for the arms that are going to go to the original engine mounts. These are going to sit something like this. Obviously need to mark it out first. And our clutch, did I bring my clutch out? No, anyway, the clutch is going to sit on top of that. It's going to go something like that. But obviously need to clean all the mill scale off this first before we can weld anything to it. And we're going to need to clean it everywhere because we want to put welds here, we're going to put welds around here. So lots of grinding to do before this is ready for us to start welding up. And a little bit of clean up more on these, on the inside of these as well. So that's pretty well cleaned up now. It's not perfect, but good enough to weld to. I've gone back to my original cardboard template to mark out the 4 corners of the rectangle that are going to be welded on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and somewhere, I think, roughly like that. And then, wherever I've put it, our clutch will sit on there, nice and central. And I measured all this out so that pretty much all, if you get the clocking right, pretty much all of these mounting holes, or at least the majority of them, will go through a piece of steel and have a bolt through. And I think that should be enough to lock. We shall see. It should be enough. It still feels a little bit flimsy, this clutch. But yeah, there's no sort of replacement for experimentation, is there? So I shall do a little bit more tidying up and alignment, and then start welding this all together. Right, everything's cleaned up. In an ideal world, I'd have some weld through primer, but I don't. But given this is going to be sealed off from the weld, and I'm going to absolutely drown it in probably first paint and then stone guard, I'm not too worried about it. This isn't something that, at least on this side, is going to be majorly exposed to the elements, so it should be fine. Not best practice, but you know, this is my backyard, so what is best practice in these scenarios? Right, let's crank that down a little bit. Turn that on. Going to tack the first piece in place and then use that as a datum for the rest. It's not a great sound. Bit more feed speed, I think. It's better. This is the problem with feed. We're welding thin stuff to thick stuff. So let's start and get some heat in the thick stuff. And come up to the thin stuff. There we go. Still getting a lot of scorching even though our gas is on. My angle's probably not great. All right, next piece. Piece 3. Piece 4 slots in nicely. Perfect. Right. So, not perfect, but my welding's never perfect. But those are all now nice and flat, tacked into place, and I can go in and weld out the rest of it. The only one that's a bit off is this corner where you can see the inside pieces don't line up brilliantly. But do you know what? It shouldn't really matter. And no one's ever going to see it other than you. Is it the prettiest thing in the world? No. Is it strong enough? I reckon absolutely. So good cleanup, and then we'll drill the holes for the clutch plate to fit, and put some riv nuts in, and then we'll slap it on the car. The plan is this will obviously self-locate, so although I wouldn't want to leave something this weighty sat on the shaft for too long, it's not too heavy, I can carry it with one finger. So we will sit it on the box, get it aligned. This is the top, this flat piece is the top. Get it aligned horizontally, measure the distance from the holes to the motor, and make sure that the motor is sort of clocked right, basically straight up. And then we will mark out from the motor the holes on here to drill through to put some bolts in. It's really hot. Something I learned today actually, which I didn't know, part of the reason perhaps that my i300h motor fits better than other people's is that the transmission tunnel on the 1.9, on the auto, is wider than on the manual, which is why I've got a bit more space and why mine can potentially sit further back than Andy's can. Yeah, random knowledge you find. So I'm going to drill these holes out to take an M5 rather than the M4, which is what they take currently. Give it a bit more strength. I'm going to use proper steel riv nuts rather than aluminium. Again, a bit more strength, because this is going to have quite a lot of torsion on it. And this with all welded nice and flat, so everything sits very square, which is great. Should be nice and strong because it's welded all the way around, even with my welding. So yeah, all marked out now. And because this is set using our template to be nice and central, if this is centered on this, then it's all centered enough, because we're using this as the datum point once it's fixed to establish where the bolt holes for our motor go. So as long as we get the motor reasonably square in the transmission tunnel, and we get this square to that, then it should all look nice and straight, and everything should bolt up nicely. There we go. Our riv nuts are in, and our clutch is securely mounted on the plate. My gloves out of the way. So that is a good point to stop for today. So I'm going to leave it there for today, partly because the battery in the camera is going flat, partly because the clouds are coming in, and partly because it's a Sunday afternoon and I really need to get some shopping done so the kids have actually got some lunch for school and college tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Nice to be back. I shall try in the next video to get this mounted up in the car, get the holes drilled so we can bolt it up to the L210, and maybe even weld in those arms to connect it to the chassis. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.